waste, garbage, trash, basura, a socio-environmental and serious problem which continues to grow on exponential basis along with time and population. These problems tend to grow and surge rampantly, especially on areas, municipalities, and cities where economic growth and population are high. Although Republic Act 9003, or otherwise known as the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act, has been in place and implemented since the year 2000, these solid waste are still ubiquitous and still ending on streets, sewers, canals, waterways, open dump sites, and even being burned on open spaces despite the unending efforts made by the local government units and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. To date, the present and existing waste management solution requires high amount of resources such as land area, manpower, fuel or electricity, and even time, which deemed to be uneconomical and not sustainable enough to cover and cope up with the increasing volume of generated garbage or waste every year. SUKI Trading, Advanced Waste Solution with Environmental Pollution Control Device, a modular equipment system which processes solid waste through gasification pyrolysis. The equipment comes in various capacities depending on the volume of waste generated by the LGU. How does the equipment work? AWS EPCD is a Japanese technology manufactured in Indonesia, which uses the gasification pyrolysis system. Gasification pyrolysis system is a thermal process which uses high temperatures to break down and disintegrate wastes. This process doesn't use direct burning and only uses less oxygen, which results to less harmful pollutants of down to 80 to 90% reduction of harmful gases or particulate matters, such as carbon dioxide, sulfur oxides, nitrogen oxides, particulate matter, dioxin, and furan, and is complying based on the emission standard set by the DENR. Excess heat of the cyclone will be used to food waste dryer. Dried food waste will be pulverized and used for fertilizer. For startup purposes only, the equipment utilizes diesel fuel for about an hour in order to initiate the ignition, especially on waste with a very high moisture. Once the desired temperature is attained, the thermal process is being maintained constant by a 1.5 horsepower blower. On a separate chamber, the wastes are first shredded and fed in a closed screw-type conveyor to prevent gas leakages and heat conservation. The feeding chamber has a capacity of 3 to 4 cubic meters per hour, or approximately equivalent to 1.412 tons per hour, of different kinds of solid wastes such as used sachets, plastic bags, styrofoams, food waste, agricultural waste, diapers, single-use plastics, and other solid wastes which have become residual waste due to contamination. In order to ensure that the emitted gases are not harmful, the AWS EPCD is equipped with two types of air pollution control devices: a cyclone gas absorption chamber and a wet-type scrubber to ensure compliance to air emission standards set by the Republic Act 8749, or otherwise known as the Philippine Clean Air Act of 1999. Wastewater from the scrubber is being treated by a dryer, which evaporates the water and leaving dried sludge, which may be used as raw material for making hollow blocks or the likes. Solid waste fed in the AWS EPCD will be reduced to ashes as its end product, which is approximately 4% of its original volume. These ash residues can then be used as construction materials for footpaths or hollow blocks. Land requirement. The AWS EPCD only requires an area of at least 100 square meters and a ceiling height requirement of 15 feet. Manpower requirement. To effectively handle the equipment, a minimum of only 3 trained personnel are required to operate daily. Fuel and electricity. 3 liters of diesel fuel will be used for startup purposes only and may vary depending on the moisture content of the material. Since the equipment is powered by 1.5 horsepower blowers and a switchboard all in a single phase line, the total electrical requirement is 8 kilowatts per hour. At a rate of 10 pesos per kilowatt, operating at least 10 hours a day, a total operating cost of 800 pesos per day. 8 kilowatts per hour multiplied by 10 hours a day multiplied by 10 pesos per kilowatt equals 800 pesos per day. We can arrive at a total by dividing the net income by the cubic meters. Time. Since the equipment is a modular type, the AWS EPCD equipment can be operational within 2 to 3 months upon awarding of contract. To ensure that AWS EPCD is workable, attached herewith is its supporting documents. ETV, DOST certifying that the technology is workable and does not pose harm to the environment. DENR permit to operate, ensuring that the air emission standards of the prototype unit pass emission standards. Should comply with Clean Air Act or CAA test. Should comply with dioxin and furan test. ISO certificate. International quality standards are in place for fabrication of AWS EPCD. PhilJEPS certificate. Platinum membership. The company is an existing registered supplier of various equipment to other government agencies.